Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast, where grit meets growth. With your host, Nic Espanet, bringing you stories of resilience, reinvention, and the real climb to success.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Today, we're joined by Rose Murillo. She is an HR and organizational consultant, and I'm excited to visit with her and hear about, kind of her career and how she's got to where she is today. Rose, thanks for joining us. Can you let our listeners know a little bit about you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. I have spent about 25 years in a human resources career, from starting as a temp all the way up to the vice president CHRO, so a little bit of everything in between. For the most part, though, especially for the past 10, 15 years, my career has been in the investigation, employee relations, employee development portion of HR. And so it was, it's been a journey. I learned a lot along the way. I learned about organizations, and mostly I learned about people and how best to enroll them into their jobs and into organizations and to promote performance.
That's awesome. So I'm sure there's a lot of competition in HR. What's something that sets you apart that's helped you be successful?
Wow, that's a great question. It is a very competitive space. I believe what's helped me is my experience and the people that I know. A lot of my consulting has been word of mouth. From one place that I've worked, we'll go on to the next one. I've worked manufacturing, I've worked national retail as well as higher ed. And so that breadth of experience has helped me understand multiple types of organizations, that there are similarities in HR, but there are also differences based on the type of company. And I've learned how to adapt to different types.
That's awesome. Is there something that you found comes easy to you that maybe others have found challenging?
Oh, let's see. I think what comes easy for me is understanding people and caring for them. I start from a position of understanding and a position of listening. No matter what they bring to me, whether it's an organization, a leader asking me about an issue, or an employee coming to ask about what they can do or what situation they're facing, I give them that space of sharing and listening and really understanding what's going on before I launch into giving advice.
That's awesome. I think that's a pretty common theme I hear amongst people that join the Flex Forward podcast, is listening, hearing what the other person's saying. It's HR or any walk of life. Just hearing, that comes back to the story. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So we should listen more. And sometimes I'm even bad about it, is wanting to solve the problem instead of let's hear what the other person truly is wanting to solve. So that's great. If someone's listening and wants to get better at something in their life, either professionally or health wise, do you have any suggestions for them? Podcasts, books, anything like that?
Yeah, I think honestly, there's some books that I would recommend. I'm reading now Malcolm Gladwell. I love his writing. I also would approach it in the way of emotional intelligence, learning yourself, learning others, reading a room, reading a situation, and understanding our own reaction to it. So powerful, no matter what kind of role you want to be in, or even just to get better in your own role, is to learn yourself and learn how you're responding to situations and where you can improve to really understand yourself and others.
That's awesome. And Malcolm Gladwell, I've read one of his The Outliers. That was an interesting book. I think Black Swan. Is that his book, Black Swan? I think. I
believe it might be, but yeah, Outliers and also Tipping Point. Very powerful books. And Outliers. It's so powerful for me because working with people, we all make mistakes. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and I love seeing potential in people. And a lot of what Outliers talks about is seeing what the potential is in individuals, no matter where they land, whether they are considered successful or not. There is value and potential and strength in them, and to find it, to understand it, and then apply that in a successful way.
That's awesome. It's been a while. It's probably been 10 years since I've read that book. I may need to put it on the reread list. I know it was fascinating. So what's one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in your career?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. I would say, if I can say so, it's been myself. It's seeing and recognizing where my own limitations have been and addressing them. So at each level, at each different type of role that I've had, it's in my nature to take on roles that no one else wants. So the part of HR that no one else wants to do, the investigation, the problems, the conflicts, those kinds of things. And so entering into each different kind of conflict, enter each kind of role, I had to get better at it. I had to get better at conflict management to help others. I had to get better at understanding situations to help others. So it was seeing my own limitations, making myself better, and then helping others.
That's awesome. That comes, I think, with it being in the investigation side, the listening too, because you got to listen to two or three or multiple. There's always three sides to every story, because we all see it from a different perspective, and so there's the truth, and people may not intentionally be misleading, but if you're looking at things from different angles or through different lenses, and you have to filter through all that and see what actually happened. I bet can be challenging, but rewarding too when you do resolve something.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes the resolution is a difficult decision.
Mm.
And then navigating that space with people can be a challenge, which has been very rewarding. Is the individual involved needs to understand the why of what the decision was made. And for the most part, I would say that we were successful in helping them understand, like, did you see what you just did? Do you see the pattern? Do you understand why this decision was made? It's so important. I think it's respecting people is so important, no matter what they've done, and helping them get to that next part of their life, whether it is in development in the same organization or going to another one.
Yeah, great stuff. So it sounds like things are going well for you, and a lot of professionals are, as they start looking towards the future, start thinking of ways to create passive income to enhance or replace their current income. Do you have any thoughts on passive income?
Passive income. I mean, honestly, it's starting a podcast or coaching on the side, becoming a coach, taking the strength and the experience that you've had, and spending an hour or two a week and coaching others to bring them up on the path that they are on. Those are great ideas, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, as we're wrapping up the interview, do you have any exciting plans or initiatives in the works for the next 6 to 12 months?
Actually, yes, I'm doing something I would say completely different, but it's tying back to HR. Through my church, and a friend of mine is a quadriplegic because of a spinal cord injury, and he needed someone on his care team. And so I joined the care team just to help out. And I have delved into the world of caregiving and CNAs and understanding the scope of both home care and hospital care. And I've realized that there's a crisis of not enough CNAs, and also of the work culture of the CNAs and in nursing. And so tying that together with HR, there's going to be a separate division of my consulting to help train and designate CNAs to get them into the workspace, and then to help the actual workspace so that they're retained. Because not only not finding CNAs, but retaining them is
and that's awesome. In my former life, I was a physical therapist and did almost a lot of work with CNAs, and there's definitely a shortage and a high demand, and even the ones when I worked in the hospital, some of the hardest working, probably the hardest working group, they're in there, every day just doing the lifting and the cleaning and the dealing with unhappy patients and happy patients. So definitely a huge need. And that's been 10 years or 15 years since I was in the hospital and around it. So I imagine it's even more challenging as people are aging. We just have a higher demand for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's expected to grow in the next 15 years between 25 and 30%, the number of people over 65.
Oh, yeah.
And so the need will be even more so. So I hope to be a part of finding the solution to that.
That's awesome. So Rose, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing tips and insights with our listeners. If people would like to get in contact with you, what's the best way to connect?
They can look on my website, J Daniel Group, and I have a link there that they can either contact me, call me, or reach out via email.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And thanks everyone for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. Be sure to like and share this episode and keep tuning in. Thank you. Thank you, Rose. It's great to visit with you.
Thank you for having me.
Don't drop off yet. I'm going to get a still shot.
Thanks for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. If you've got grit, growth, and a great story, visit flexforwardpodcast.com/guest to apply and join us on the show.